So what I'm hearing there is not the shouty instructions from the sideline, do this, do that, because I know best. I'm the coach. I'm in charge. I'm hearing about put a little bit more intensity or intentional focus into practice, so that you're cultivating dynamic decision makers that are fluid and adaptable to whatever play that's
Yeah,
emerging as the game might progress, the different opponent set that you might encourage.
I mean, two fantastic examples to bring that to life. We'd spent a huge amount of years preparing for London 2012, literally no stone unturned for London 2012. We were leading Japan 4-0 in the very first game of the Olympics, and Kate, who was our skipper, an incredibly good leader, has her jaw broken in four
Yeah.
places by a Japanese player. And the video of that particular moment, which I sometimes show when I'm talking about this concept of developing leaders in the team and people who are going to be willing to step out and actually grip the situation, grip others. When you watch that moment, you see our medical team run on to deal with Kate. And then you see our team and two or three individuals in that team take everybody else away from Kate in that moment. They all come together and there's a conversation about what still needs to happen in the time remaining. So someone's had the presence of mind, and I won't name the individual as well. They have the presence of mind, think actually all sitting around Kate at this moment. So there's nothing we can do. And it's also going to detract from what actually needs to happen next in terms of our performance. We've got to trust the medical staff are going to do a really, really good job. And we are mindful enough that some people are going to be a bit all over the place because they've just seen someone's jaw shattered. So, and that's all happening without someone from the side of the pitch going, right, get together, have a conversation, all that sort of nonsense you see
Yeah.
sometimes from coaches. So for me, that was a really strange moment. You know, there's this sort of, in hindsight now, like a very pride moment of all of that work sort of paying off and those individuals understanding what their strengths are and when that becomes appropriate for them to lead. So that's a really good example. You've embedded it, you've worked on it, and then it comes to fruition when it matters most. And then another moment was in the Olympic final in Rio 2016 when we were playing the Netherlands. We'd spoken a lot about the Netherlands' ill discipline and the propensity for kicking the ball away and little moments that could lead to them getting green cards at critical moments, your last few minutes of the game. Exactly that happened. And then it was about sort of the ability to see and identify that moment and do tactically take advantage of it. And so in that moment, I remember Holly Webb stepping up from a deep defensive role, sort of deep lying defensive role, and stepping up into a sort of a deep or more attacking midfield role, which created us a little number overload higher up the pitch. And literally in the next play, little defensive, a little overload, attacking overload into the right-hand side against the Netherlands, penalty corner, equalised. We win the shootout, gold medal. And again, it takes a long time, years, for athletes to appreciate the training environment for those moments. And that's, again, a moment of where someone has gripped the situation, understood what needed to happen in that moment, saw the opportunity, took action, organised others around them, and then allowed that overload to occur. And on that, a gold medal is won. So those moments come from the years, and it is years of work that's put onto the pitch and the frustration of players of why are we doing this type of stuff, you know. But in my experience, and obviously there's a confirmation bias playing out, but in my experience, that is the thing that defines your success. That sort of cultural environment where people lead and lead others in moments of pressure.
Oh, wow. Superb examples. I'd love to just to explore a couple of the things that emerged from that. One, you talked about your medical staff, your support staff. So you're also thinking about the players in the team, but you're also thinking about the people that might come in to influence, whether it's the analysis, whether it's the nutrition. What are the qualities of the people that you're looking in support of that environment? That would be one question that would emerge from that.
Yeah. And I think towards the end of the Rio cycle, with the help of Andrea First, who was our team psychologist, we did some excellent work about just scratching harder under the surface about how we function as a team and what we were like on a good day and a bad day, and therefore what we needed to support each other in those moments. I remember a particular conversation in January 2016. We were in Perth, Australia, and I had deliberately chosen to take her to a pretty tough environment, summer Australia, incredibly hot, long way from home, living in small little accommodation, not very luxurious, tough test series, lots of players, lots of injuries, deliberately a tough environment, making good decisions about athletes under pressure, but also a real opportunity for Andrea to help facilitate conversations with the staff about, okay, we're working hard about how this athlete group works as a team. What about us? And there were some pretty tough conversations. I remember one member of staff, they took it pretty hard, some of the feedback, but it was given with really good intent and compassion. And I think, I know, having conversations with that person subsequently, that that message after the initial denial and anger bit really hit home, and realized they were really valued. It might not have felt like at the time, but they were really valued and what they could bring, but they also just realized they needed to mitigate some elements of their behavior around certain aspects. And Andrew did a really good job around that. And then we, through reflection on that process, we tried to embed that more and more through to the 2018 Women's World Cup and how we operate and function as a staff team. And then subsequently, that's always something that I've been very interested in. But of course, one of the challenges you then face as a head coach, you've got to, like I recently with the men, circa 14 staff, 31 athletes, you've got 45 odd individuals there. And everyone wants to have this wonderful relationship with you at some granular level. At 45, it's very, very difficult to hold true to. So you've got to understand, okay, as a head coach, and I didn't get this balance right. You've got to, where's your priorities lay? Where does ultimate performance lay? And prioritize a little bit better. I think more recently, sometimes some of my focus has been really probably a little bit too much on the staff team and dynamic, and therefore in subsequent recruitment, is ensuring that those staff are well-developed, rounded individuals who understand their role. They're not needing of the head coach's time and energy. They're going to function with autonomy, and when given autonomy, aren't going to worry about being given autonomy, not having to check everything with the head coach all the time. So that's definitely something I've reflected on in the last few months, really, is just where do you spend your time as a head coach?